Making homemade gravy is one of the first things that Grandma taught me how to do when we first got married, and it is so special to me to be able to make this homemade and it not have to be in a package, which came out to be a lifesaver as our family grew and we developed some allergies. So being able to just make the gravy from the drippings or chicken stock, gluten-free flour, regular flour, and butter, you can make a beautiful homemade gravy. This is the turkey that's all cooked and sitting here. I have the pan drippings, and in the pan drippings, I also had put some chicken stock in there. So if you don't want to use the pan drippings, I'll teach you how to make it just with the chicken stock also. So I had strained this through a second time because this strain was giving too many little pieces into my gravy. But I just wanted to show you how I used to do it before I had this gravy strainer. I used to just strain it with a mesh strainer. I'll clean that off and show you. But I used to use it with a mesh strainer just over a mason jar and just let it cool off a little bit, and then you can take the oil off of the top so it separates on its own. The cool thing about having a gravy separator is when you go to, I'll put it back in this, but when you go to use it, the liquid comes out the bottom so you can get all the broth out of it without the fat layer at the top. So that's why this is cool, but you can just do it in a jar too. And I'm just gonna pour this back into the thing. So we're just gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes and all the fat will raise up to the top, and then it'll be perfect for using the broth at the bottom. Let's just go through the things that we have. I have a small saucepan, real butter, all-purpose flour. You can use gluten-free flour if you have a gluten allergy. And then I'm gonna use the drippings, which are down here at the bottom. But if you didn't have the drippings or you wanted to make it without it, you can just use chicken broth. And then just salt and pepper. So we're gonna turn this on. I've never measured this in my life, so just gonna kind of laugh about it. We're probably gonna start out with about 2 tablespoons of butter in the bottom here. We're gonna let that melt just a little bit. Just get it to start melting, and then we're gonna add the flour. This is a 1/4 cup, so like 3 to 4 tablespoons, 1/4 cup. And we're just going to actually let it cook, and that's called making a roux. The one kitchen item I don't have is a silicone whisk of all the things I have, so I always just use a wooden spoon. This is just gonna cook and melt down. It'll just take a minute. I'm just gonna throw a little bit more butter in there. You measure with your heart. There we go. That's what I was wanting. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the drippings. So you just squeeze it and it comes out the bottom. And I'm just going to let that incorporate a little bit. All right, now it's finally hot. I'm going to keep going until it gets to that fat line there. There you go. And then we're just going to measure with your heart. Sometimes I put apple juice in the turkey and the brine and stuff, and then I add a little bit of apple juice to the gravy too, and it's so good. Okay, this is all smooth now and it's reduced down, and as it cools down it's going to thicken, but I leave it here in the pot until after I've carved the turkey, and this is the very last thing that I will dish up before I take it to the table. Thank you for joining us today as we make some gravy. Make sure that you're following the playlist because we are planning on adding one of my special secret recipes every single year to this Thanksgiving list. And all the recipes are on the blog, and all of that information is listed in the description.